Hello, today we'll be looking at chapter number 2, that is Lines and Angles from grade 6. So today I'll be taking you through various concepts and almost all the concepts from this chapter so that this is picture perfect for you. Okay, starting with the topic point. What is a point? A point is something that determines a precise location, but it has no length, no breadth, nor no height. So basically, it does not have any length, breadth and height. Now, how do you represent a point? A point is represented by a dot. Okay, you can see there are 3 dots over here and it is represented as different letters. So how do you read this? You read this as point A, point B and point C. This is all that you need to know about point from this chapter. The next topic that we have is line segment. So what is a line segment? Let's take an example. Suppose there are 2 locations A and B and there are different paths from A to B. This is a different path. This is a different path. The shortest distance between 2 points is called as a line segment. You can see this. So how do you represent a line segment? Again, put a point, another point and a line in between. You see this? This is a line segment. Now, what are the various components in a line segment? These points in line segments are called as endpoints. Okay, so basically the points in line segment are called endpoints. So this is an endpoint. Now, with the same topic, we can understand what line is. So when you extend line segment to both directions, okay, so this is the other direction and the other side, suppose this is one point, this is another end point, and you extend the line. So this much part is known as a line. So what all did we cover? We covered point, line segment as well as a line. Now, what is ray? A ray is a portion of a line that starts at one point. To understand ray, think of a torch. I hope all of you know what a torch is. So imagine this is a torch, okay? Now, how does the light travel through? So this is the point from where light starts from. The ray goes out like this. Imagine you switched the torch on and you can see the light going on in various directions. So this is the starting point or the initial point of the ray. The ray is represented like this, or how first an end point, then a line moving in one side. This is called as a ray. Now, if you name this A, then how do you AB? You can represent a ray as AB. This is how you represent a ray. What about for line segment? If you name this AB, line segments are represented like this. Ray is represented like this. Next, we have angle. Angle is considered one of the hardest topics among 6th graders, but it is actually really easy. Okay, so angle is formed by 2 rays meeting at a point. So if this is the point or the end point, and 2 rays extend from the point, or 2 lines extend from the point. So this is a ray, this is a ray. Let us name this B. Put 2 points over here, B, D, E. There is a small curve or a small arc that forms around the 2 lines, right? This particular region is called as the angle. So the region between this figure is called as an angle. Now, in an angle, we don't just say this as an endpoint, this as the line, etc. We call this particular point as a vertex. And the lines that emerge from the vertex, we call it as arm. So we call these 2 lines as the arms of an angle, and this point as a vertex. So how do you define an angle now? Any 2 arms that protrude or extend from a vertex is called as an angle. Forming an area between the arm is known as a vertex. Now, how do you name this whole figure? We can either call it as angle DBE, EBD, anyhow. So, angle, suppose I'm taking DBE. So, angle DBE. Now, there's a symbol for angle. Just like how we have plus for addition, minus for subtraction, we have a symbol for angle. What is the symbol? This. This is the symbol for angle. This is the symbol for angle. So, how do you call this whole figure as angle DBE? Now, how do you know which letter should come in the middle as well as in the sides? Whenever you represent an angle, the vertex or the point representing the vertex should come in the center. You can see here, see B. So if I was taking the reverse order, it will be EBD because B should always come in the center. So it will be angle EBD. Now, another point that you need to know while learning about angle is that what is the size of an angle? The size of an angle is the amount of rotation or turn that is needed about the vertex to move the first ray to the second ray. I know it doesn't make any sense. Well, what is the size of an angle? It is the amount of turn or the amount of, area you need to cover to move one of the arm to the other. To move this whole line to this line is the amount or the size of an angle. Now, how do you classify angles? So, basically there are types of angles. There are mainly three types, which are this, this and this. Okay, so let's name this vertex as B, this as A and this as C. Same thing over here, B, A, C. Again here, B, A and C. Now, this area over here is called as an angle. Here, okay, we'll discuss that later. Here, again, an angle. Alright? Before discussing all these three, let's know about this angle. So you can see here, this is a line segment or a ray. This is called as the line segment. Now you extend it, this becomes a line. Okay. Now here you can see there are 3 points, A, B, C. Okay. Now, how do you draw an angle between these two lines? See, I told you the size of an angle is equal to the amount of area one line has to cover to reach the other line. So this line can go in either this direction or this direction. Okay, so how do you represent the angle? You represent it like this. This is the angle in this diagram. Now, observing this diagram, you can see that the arms of the angle lie in a straight line, right? The arms, these are the arms. The arm of this angle lies in a straight line. Okay, now here you can see that this is the angle, right? Since the arms of the angle lie in a straight line, this diagram is called as the straight angle. This angle is called straight angle. So, what is the value for this? Now, there are different values for this as well as this diagram. Okay, I'll be discussing that later. So, talking about this is called as a straight angle. Since these two angles are very close to each other, and it is not in the form of an L shape like this, right? So this is a diagram with an L shape. You can see this L shape. Whenever two arms lie in an L shape, this will form a right angle. So these two arms form an angle, and these two arms lie in a L shape, right? See, L shape. Whenever two arms lie in an L shape, this angle is called as a right angle. What is it called? The right angle. Okay, so this is the right angle. Now look at this diagram. In this diagram, the arms are closer to each other. Comparing to this diagram has the arms closer to each other. So whenever the angle is less than right angle formed in an L shape, by the arms in an L shape, this area or this diagram is called as an acute angle. So what is this called? Acute angle. Now coming over here, you can see the L shape was supposed to be like this. Suppose this was how the L shape was supposed to be, right? L. Instead of L, the angle increased. When an angle increases from the right position or the right angle, this area or this diagram is called as an obtuse angle. So this is straight angle, right angle, acute angle, obtuse angle. Straight angle is when the arms of the angle lie in a straight line. Right angle is when the arms of the angle lie in an L position. Acute angle is when the arms of the angle lay or be less than the right angle. And obtuse angle is when the arms of the angle are greater than the right angle. Now there are various values for straight, right, acute as well as obtuse angle. For straight angle, the degree is 180 degree. You need to know the values. They are extremely important. Okay, so 180 degree. Right angle, okay. An easy trick to know the values of straight angle, right angle, acute angle as well as obtuse angle is, in a straight angle, okay, before that, suppose this is a circle, okay? You can see the circle. It's not perfect, but yet it's a circle. You draw the center of the circle. You draw a radius towards the circumference of the circle. Now, you can see, so this whole thing, you can consider it as an angle, right? Consider there are two arms extending from the radius to the circumference. So, if you look close, this can be the vertex. There are two arms. Then, the angle between the two arms will be 360 degree, okay? It will be 360 degree. Now, when one of the arm extends all the way till here, so if this whole thing is 360, then this much portion will be cancelling out this. It will be 360 divided by 2, which is equal to 180 degree. So here this will be 180 degree. Now consider right angle. If you keep the right angle on top of the straight angle, that is superimpose both the angles, then you will get another angle. And it will be half of 180, right? Half of 180 is 90 degree. So the angle of a right angle is 90 degree. Now, an angle of an acute angle is less than 90 degree. It is less than 90 degree. So this is the angle. The angle, this is how you represent angle. Okay, theta. This is external, information. This is how we represent an angle. Theta. So theta is less than 90 degree. You don't have to learn this. An angle less than 90 degree will form an acute angle. What about obtuse angle? If this is 180, this is right angle, this is less than 90 degree. I told you obtuse angle is formed when the both arms exceed more than the right angle, right? So this will be more than 90 degree. Straight angle is 180 degree. Right angle is 90 degree, acute angle is less than 90 degree, and obtuse angle is more than 90 degree. So that is all the concepts in chapter number 2, Lines and Angles of grade 6. We went through point, line segment as well as line, ray, angle, and the types of angle. Now, there are various portions like how to measure an angle with a protractor, as well as so many questions in the textbook. The measuring of an angle, I'll be taking that in the next video, as well as questions. We'll be doing so many questions related to this chapter. Thank you for watching, and I hope you understood something or the other from this video. This chapter is really easy. Start preparing. This is going to be really easy in the exam as well. Okay, so like I said, measuring of an angle using a protractor will be done in the next video. You can type it and find it out from my channel. And that's all the important portions from the chapter Lines and Angles.